Well, our story starts today about 45 years ago. It was the summer of 1977 when 325 people met for the very first time as a church that would one day become known as the Church at Rocky Peak. And over the next couple of years, the church continued to grow, but we were also forced to move 5 times to 5 different rented facilities until we finally landed on the campus of CSUN in 1980. But shortly before that, in 1979, the church had an amazing opportunity to purchase the first 70 acres of land where we meet today. And this purchase was a huge undertaking for such a young church. In fact, the bank wasn't even willing to loan us the money to purchase it until 10 bold, brave families stepped up and pledged their own houses as collateral. And with that, we entered into an agreement to purchase the property. So by the mid-1980s, we were finally ready to start building on the property. And in 1988, the church opened our first buildings for the very first time and started meeting here. But over the next 25 years, the church continued to grow. We continued to add more land and even build a larger worship center that we now meet in. But about 10 years ago, as we continued to grow, we were starting to run out of room. And after a lot of prayer and discussion and consultation, we felt God was leading us to take a big step of faith to enlarge and refresh our campus, starting with our worship center and our kids center to create more space for the people God was bringing. We shared this vision with the church and we called this project The Assignment. The church caught the vision and you gave generously. And over the last 10 years, we've been able not only to enlarge and refresh our worship center and our kids center, but we've also been able to remodel every building on our campus, including the Ridge, the Vista, the Summit, and our offices. But over these past 35 years, from the time the first buildings went up on our property until now, the church has always had a mortgage. And about 5 years ago, the elders began to sense that the winds of change were starting to blow, and we could envision a time in our culture in the not too distant future when the government might take away our tax status as a charitable organization because we refuse to compromise the teaching of Jesus and His Word about important hot-button social issues. So at that time, we began to put aside a significant amount of our monthly budget so we'd be able to pay off our mortgage early, and we set a goal for 2024. But because of God's goodness and your generosity over these past 5 years, this past fall, the fall of 2022, we were able to completely pay off our mortgage ahead of schedule. And so now for the very first time since we started meeting on this property over 35 years ago, the church at Rocky Peak is completely debt-free. So we want to share this great news with you and thank you for your generosity. And we also want to invite you to come and join us at our next encounter on Sunday, January 29th, as we celebrate this major milestone together and also share with you the fresh wind of new vision that God is sharing with us so that together we can continue to unleash a movement of passionate Christ followers.